Good morning. Welcome to the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where we try to learn chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. I created this strategy almost approximately 2 years ago, and I had many strategies that I traded off of. I kept adding and adding on and adding on, and I've been trading for about 20 years. So I've had swing trading time. I've traded the pennies. I've traded since 2007, and then I've been watching and studying the market ever since 2003. So I keep a good eye. I didn't start trading until the crash, the Obama crash, which gave me an opportunity to get in at the market at a very good low price. And throughout that time, I've studied other people's strategies and put them all together. Everybody I've hung around with, I've learned something from. So I've never criticized or cut anybody down. I've learned from them. It's talking about many a traders. I've been with many a traders. In fact, I probably had one of the first chat rooms out there. I was involved in one of the first chat rooms out there back there in 2007. So I became a technical trader, not a fundamental trader. I trade off my own algorithm. I've used very few algorithms of other people, other studies. I use the moving averages, and that's about it. I use a TTM squeeze chart to kind of just give me a little coloration. I like the color on it. Makes it me more comfortable. And I use candlesticks. I study candlesticks, and I study chart patterns. And I try to be in the now. I try to get a feeling of the market. So the strategy is built upon years of learning that instead of digging deep. Because I had a full-time job, I didn't have time to sit there and study everything I needed to know. All the fundamentals about the companies. And to me, at the time, I felt like technical trading was the place to be. So I became a master of the technical trading. And here lately, I developed a trading strategy called the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy. It's just a idea I had about how the market kind of moves in and out, up and down, all around. And so I started studying knives and what's the best thing, how do knives break out, how do they consolidate, where do they stop at, and that's part of it. So I started studying about days and time frames. I remember here just last week they were saying the Dow was up 11 days in a row, and they were all shocked. These traders out there on the floor were shocked. 10 days in a row the Dow's up. Like, oh man, this means something. Because I think a lot of your, this is all just stuff that I've learned, and I've learned from other people, and I've seen through many of, like, probably I don't know how many charts I've drawn out 2.5 million. So I've seen 7 days, 5 days, 7 days, and 3 days. It seems like the market likes to bounce a little and sell off, bounce a little, sell off. So when we passed that 7 day mark, people were kind of freaking out about the Dow, and I was too, because I'm not accustomed to a market running up like that. And I think it was definitely sending a clear message that we don't want to have another 2022. So being in the now and not knowing a lot, just reading headlines and getting the feel of the market from the other traders, from the fat cats. When they start to get a little bit greedy, I start to scale in my profit and hope and wait for the dip. Here the last time around, it was kind of hard because that Dow ran up 11, 12, 13 days in a row and finally showed a red day. So that's how I use this here time frame. Now, others use it differently, like every 30 years or every 10 years. So if we have a big sell-off, that's when this fear comes in. But I use it on a 7 day time frame, or I try to get the feel of the greedy of the market. and then that's when I want to, the anxiety, So that's out of the way. That's definitely part of it. Then I get to studying the patterns. Snake is something like this. I'm going to show you exactly a picture of it. It's a snake, breakout, pull back, boom. During this process, I'm waiting for the snake to break out so we have a channel. It's created a channel. So I know that this could be a very good buying opportunity, especially if it's something like Nvidia that's getting pumped to 650 a share. And we're up here at 480 something, 478, 480, 488, and we had a nice little knife. It had pullback, sharp pullback, 3 black crows. Here's another strategy right here that I have. 3 black crows, double bottom, boom. And same thing right here. We had the snake breakout, triple bottom, boom. So snake breakout, pull back to the third support, and then into a pennant flag. So I think this thing's ready to break out to the upside even a lot more. This is an attractive push out, So that's part of the snake. It's simple. A long sell off a knife. It consolidates, breaks out of the channel, pulls back for support, and then boom. So in that thesis, I want to study what's going on down here. I want to study chart patterns. I want to study, what are reversal patterns that could bring a stock back up after a good knife. I mean, this sold from 178 all the way down to 178, 478 all the way down to 440. So that's a $38 sell, right? So that's a pretty good knife in 3 days. There goes my 3-day rule on that map. People were getting greedy. I'm telling everybody, news headlines are coming out. We're right here at the top of the chart. We're up here at the top, and all of a sudden headlines are coming out. It's coming to 600. It's going to 625. It's going to 650. And I'm going, yeah, right. I'm shaking my head going, not at a double top. It ain't. It's going to pull back down. So we had a double top. That's another reason to get alerted on an exit idea, or maybe even to take a trade, to catch it on the pullback, put it on your watch list. So we had 1, 2, 3 day sell off. The stock was alerted on that day right there on a Sunday, and then we had the breakout, pullback, boom. Now Nvidia. Now this is the same thing happened on the SPY. SPX. We had a snake, the breakout, pullback, boom. Now this snake was lit off by a daily double bottom. So I alerted the room. I alerted the room up here. We got in the puts. I got in the puts a little bit too soon and had to end up averaging down on the way up. So yeah, it ended up being a good deal because I ended up with a lot of puts, and I was able to get out with a good profit. But I was down $1,200 on these things when I got in because it just kept going. I thought we were going to get a knife because it looked to me like we were having lower lows here, and all of a sudden she just went around and boom, turned on me. And it's the same exact pattern. Snake, breakout, pull back, boom. So we had a double bottom right here, and this is on the SPX. Called this one out too, so people profited from this trade, and they also profited from this trade. Once it really started breaking down, I alerted the room and I said, man, I'm in these at a loss. I'd jump in these things and look down and see if we can't touch either one of these 2 support levels, and we did. We actually went down, and I called after we broke this here support. I said, we have a chance of hitting this daily double bottom and get ready to load the boat on the calls. And that's what happened. We came in here, so we had a snake right here. Uh-oh. And I pointed out this here hammer. I said, we're getting ready to have a reversal, so, they gave him 7 minutes to go ahead and get in that trade. Snake, breakout, pullback, boom. Then we created another flag right here to break out. So it's all about patterns. It's all about patterns. It's a whole new trade. I've got to really make people understand there's going to be stuff in this thing that nobody's ever seen before. For example, we had this double bottom right here, and I threw in this trend line. This is what I called here out earlier for another breakout. And I threw in this trend line, and I extended that on down. Just throwing it in, telling people we're getting ready to break out of the trade. Well, later on that day, I had a confirmation with that double bottom to get into this snake, along with that huge candle right there, which was a buy signal to me to take this trade. So yeah, we benefited from on the way down and the way up. Just one trade, the SPX, and I made a pretty good penny on this one. So it's all about the strategy, and you're going to see things that are different than any other strategy out there, but once you understand it, it's so simple. It's so simple. Can you imagine me telling you, or you thinking to yourself, set an alert, I'm going to set an alert, okay, we broke out today. We broke out today. I'm going to set an alert to get in this trade later on in the afternoon. And then later on in the afternoon, boom, boom, I got triggered with 2 alerts. And I was able to take the trade because I'm sitting here watching something else, and all of a sudden I get ding, and I'm going to my machine, I'm going to my alert center, and I'm saying, oh, I wrote in this here alert that we hit a double bottom on the daily, and this might be a real good trade for a reversal into the rest of the day. And it depends on being in the now. So yeah, I mean, snake, breakout, pull back, boom, and it's real simple. It's more relaxing. It's relaxed. It gives you plenty of time to take a trade. The strategy, and you can witness this live on YouTube. It has a delay, and we also have a little room that I'm teaching this strategy in. But it's something that I taught myself. It's something that you have to throw. I mean, you can take a lot of other stuff. You can take this, for example. You can learn about candlesticks, reversal candlesticks. What's a bullish pattern? You know, you hit the bottom. What's a bullish reversal on that bottom? Maybe you hit a snake here and you had a big engulfing candle come out of the snake and broke resistance. That thing could pull back down. It will pull back down, and you can catch it off the neckline maybe of an inverse head and shoulders. Or you close down out of the snake and it comes in with the candle, but they always pull back. They always pull back. Once they pull back, maybe it's an inside bullish harmony, or maybe it's a long leg shadow there at the very bottom that I called out Friday on that their SPX reversal. Maybe it's a bear flag that you're seeing at the top that identifies you, that say, hey, we might have a snake coming, or I want to get out of a trade. For example, this here inverted hammer. I see that at the top. I want to get out. 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 So I'm always looking at them candles. Another thing I like to do is call out these crows on the snake. You know, we got a big long snake and we got maybe 4 or 5, 6 crows coming down. I want to identify that candle. Once it stops, I want to identify that bottom candle where I start to see the reversal. And if it pops out, I want to go back and look at that candle and say, oh man, this is a harmony, or this is an inverted hammer. I mean, this could really be something after we had 5 crows. Or I'm at the top and I want to get out of the trade that I just took. These are squeeze trades. These are trades that you call out. Depends on the time frame. If it's a 20-day, you might be able to get away with swinging it for 3 days. But it's squeeze. It's a squeeze trade. It's something that you want to spot right when it's about time for the breaking point of resistance. Just like right here. Okay, I'm right there at the bottom. I'm squeezing. I'm getting ready to get out of this, and I know I got to get out fast because it will pop and pull back, and and you can have this trade done within 30 minutes. You don't have to get into the trade. I've counted before, 25, 30 minutes. Why? I'll show you. Because once you're out of the snake, you start showing these patterns. For example, we have a falling wedge. I call a falling wedge all the time. Big long knife. All of a sudden it starts to consolidate. And this could happen after earnings. It could happen after a good breakout and people want to take profit. It could happen after a news event. It could happen after a politician speaks. It, it could happen for any reason at all. It could happen just due to an AI misunderstanding of a news breakout, like the Pentagon was bombed, and all of a sudden the market sells off. It could be a great buying opportunity. But yeah, I mean, you got to watch them flags when they're coming out of that snake or coming into it. This is an inverted head and shoulders. I call this out daily. Daily. And I call all these trades out. But it depends on being in the now and what kind of stock it is. Double bottom, triple bottoms. See a falling wedge? I'll call 1, 2, 3. And if it hits that third bottom on that wedge, it's going to break out. Same thing when a stock goes up to the top. It's all in threes to me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. So yeah, out of the snake, 1, 2, 3, boom. So I've learned that real well. I've got to learn them patterns that come out of that snake. And let me see what else. Yeah, just study the candles that come on reversals when you're charting up or when you're learning. So look them up. Look them up. Have you a reference tool? All you got to do is write bullish candlestick reversals or common candlestick reversal patterns. Bullish, bearish, either way. Three Black Crows is some of my favorite trading style, and a lot of people call it wrong. It's just, to me, it's just a liquidation, a get out, and to buy back in the trade. Depends on the news and depends on the stock. Depends on the time. Each one of these snakes can be traded in different time frames of the day, like early morning, midday, the water cooler trade, fat cats come back, power hour, etc. They all trade differently in them time frames. So yeah, it's a good strategy. I really like it. My percent accuracy rating is top notch with this strategy, and it gets even better and better the more I trade it. But along with that, I have to work and I have to study candlestick patterns, dojis. So that's a sneaky snake trading strategy. I just wanted to give you a kind of an idea. There's been a lot of interpretation. People with I met all kinds of traders. Okay, and I think that my perspective is that I like to learn from everybody. I don't define anybody as a bad trader. I trade with people that have a decent headset on themselves, a decent mindset, that want to learn and want to share ideas and feel confident in what they're doing. Everybody trades different. Everybody has a different strategy, and everybody sees everything different at a different time. I could see, like, okay, man, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the setup, and I said, whoa, boy, this is great setup, man. I mean, this really looks good. I'm saying we're sitting here and we're on the third dip. We're pulled back, and I'm sitting here saying, man, this looks like a real good setup. And all of a sudden, it gets a downgrade, and I didn't see it. Someone else sitting in the room or sitting around you or something. I've looked in the news. There's nothing in the news. I don't see nothing about a downgrade. Everything seems good, and all of a sudden there's something going on at the Pentagon, or the Biden had fell down again, or who knows what. And decides instead of breaking to the upside, but somebody points it out and saves my ass from maybe taking that trade and waiting just a little bit longer and finding out stuff for myself. So yeah, I mean, so there's a lot goes on when it's simple. Snake, breakout, pull back, boom. In most cases it works. So that's about it. I just wanted to share that strategy and just to kind of emphasize that it's new. There's no, it's like all of a sudden somebody introduced the Kettner channels, or Dr. Bollinger entered the Bollinger bands, or Elliott Wave did the wave, introduced the wave. I'm introducing the sneaky snake. It's just a simple trading strategy built off chart patterns and moving averages. So the snake itself right here said, Jim, we got a double bottom down here off the 200 SMA. This looks like it's getting ready to break out. And I said, heck yeah, it is. It hit my 200 SMA on my 1 hour time frame. And it came back and did it again right here. Boom. So yeah, I mean, moving averages, chart patterns, pennant flag, getting ready to break out again, and being in the now. And being in the now is learning from your people you trade with, reading headlines, getting emphasis on how they're acting on CNBC. I've traded with traders that have been doing it for a long time, and they're set in their own ways. Not professional traders. And then I met traders that will say, stay in the stock forever, whatever happens, happens. In the long run, if you got a 5-year time frame or 10-year time frame, or don't worry about it. They're gonna, it's gonna rise. You're gonna move up, which in most cases is true. And then you got me, which I'm a scalper. I used to be a day trader. I used to be a swinger, and I'm scalping. I make a lot more money, so I'd rather scalp. Plus, I have nothing else to do. I don't have a family, so that's part of the strategy. You got to be here. You got to be glued. You got to be watching it, and you got to know if you're going to get into a squeeze, or at the bottom lowest possible support that you can get in, you can sell it within that day or even within that 3-day period at a resistance of a 20-day high. 5-day, whatever, One thing it did, it took 5 days to come down, and it took what, 1, 2, 3, 4 days to go back up. Now 4 days to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4 days to go down, and 4 days to go up. 3 days to go down, 4 days to go up. Get it right, Jim. But yeah, like it says here, called 3-day rule off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. And boom. So have a great day. The sneaky snake trading strategy.